Do you know how many jobs will require digital skills in the near future in accordance with a European Commission study? 9 out of 10, practically 100%. And having clear in mind this perspective, in our organization, we are working in preparing, we have a strategy. This strategy is, in the same time, feeding the roots of the organization and enabling us to start reaping fruits. We are working in two different directions. One, digital awareness. It's a horizontal training to all of our employees in operations, highlighting them the impact of digital technologies either in their life and in working time. The other program, it's Digital Workforce. It's a program to define the set of skills, the mix of roles, the roles we need to make digitalization happen. In order to support this strategy, we have a roadmap. A roadmap, of course, is the most common way to communicate a direction and an objective to the organization. But for us, in the meantime, is also a powerful tool to connect the bottom up. What is happening in our 15 factories in Europe? And we have two simple tools to make it happen. One, it's a articulated, a structured, smart platform in order to collect in each plant the projects that are running. We can say, in simple words, that the main objective of this platform is to avoid to invent the wheel every time. Another tool is a common methodology that we have designed and we are running in our factories in Europe in order to acknowledge, to make factories acknowledge where they are and where they want to move in 1 to 2 years, in respect, of course, of the common strategy, roadmap. But coming back to the first point, digital awareness. And in digital awareness, this, as I said, training 8 hours for each of our people in operations. In Italy, at this point of time, we have been involving 3,500 people. Doing what? Highlighting the impact of simple tools in our organization and also in their normal life. We are highlighting them simple things, like how to open an email account, how to download the pay slip that is allowing us to save tons of paper every month. And also giving them the first informations about cybersecurity. And in the meantime, we are, let's say, proposing them, we are to experience what in our factories we're already doing. One of these is VR, virtual reality to make a training. But how it started, this journey? I have the pleasure to share with you a little story, how it started. It started 1.5 years ago. I was just appointed to lead the lean organization in Europe. I had to organize my first session, my first meeting with these guys. Very experienced guys, hands-on people, clever people, traditional approach. And the idea was, how I can, let's say, provoke something in them. How can I trigger something new in them? And then the idea started. I had the pleasure, I was so lucky to meet these guys, to meet Pier Mattia. And we start preparing a couple of small apps realized by them with our, let's say, support, really, a cooperation among us. And we realized this experience. Simple apps that has triggered in the mind of these my colleagues something new. They immediately start saying, hey, Emanuele, do you know that we can apply also this for our application in lean manufacturing, considering the topic? The goal was achieved. And having achieved this goal, then I start thinking with the team, with my digital team, how can we move forward? And immediately a couple of ideas popped up in our mind. And one of these was, why not to define a pilot and to start thinking how to utilize this powerful technology in making a different training experience. And so we defined a topic, we identified it, it was in safety. It was about one of the most crucial procedures in safety for us. I mean, it's a procedure that explains the way that an operator, a foreman, an equipment supervisor, a team leader has to follow when he has to go inside the equipment. And we designed it, and the realization was the following. And as usual, for me, never stop thinking, as Mattia was saying, build our future. And so we started thinking to this topic. Because piloting in this age, at least, but I am sure not only in my organization, they are fundamental. Pilots are fundamental to, let's say, understand the potential of a technology and to start also involving people that drive the change. But we need to scale up. Scale up because, of course, we are not a non-profit organization, and we need to achieve results. And so after the second successful story, the augmented reality application made in this equipment, designing a new way to run or to have a training experience, we start thinking, okay, we have 15 factories. We can presume 80, 100 equipments per factory. Okay, in case of scale up, we are potentially in front of creating a maze. So what can we think? Again, talking, thinking, discussing with Pier Mattia and his team, we defined that, why not move, play with technology? Instead of utilizing an AR, start to thinking in which way we can have the same benefits achieved with the first application utilizing VR. And combining all these things and working a lot together with them, we realized this experience that is the current one that you are proposing to our team during the sessions of digital awareness. We have practically recreated, in virtual reality, a typical environment of our equipment in Electrolux. This was the first realization. And we are proposing to our people to run the training experience utilizing a VR device and following this kind of sequence. As I said, today we have on our shoulders more or less 2,000 user experience. And it's a pleasure to me share with you which are the most relevant topics that our user experience at this point of time is available to offer. First of all, the virtual environment is great because it's mirroring our environment. So you immediately recognize yourself as part of this experience. Then, having realized this multiple choice solution, and giving both reinforcement and also feedback to the user, we have created something extremely dynamic that is appreciated by the users up to now. Another point that to me is really, it's very, very powerful, and also Mattia was highlighting before during his speech, is measurable. We can measure simply responding time. We can measure, of course, how many times we are answering correctly at the first time or not. And this way, we can set better, we can define better which is the gap, and set, of course, the countermeasure in a very objective way. Not only is customizable, and being customizable, it opens this kind of solution practically an endless process of evolution. This is again part of the plus. And just comparing, I was just comparing a traditional way of running a training experience in the traditional way versus this new way that you are approaching, and try to define a set of rationals. First of all, execution time is a plus for the VR experience, because normally in a traditional experience you have a theoretical part plus a practical experience. It lasts more, it's a matter of fact. But not only, it's very important the user experience. To me, and I remind, being at this point of time able to have this more or less 2,000 user experience in our organization, VR is really proposing a user experience that goes in this 10 times area. Because it's an active learning, because people really interact during the experience. And for people belonging to operations or with a past experience in operations like me, there is another important plus, that this experience is possible to run without having the availability of an equipment. So you don't need to stop your equipment and run the training. You can go in parallel. Not only, you can also activate sessions involving more than one people. It's just a matter to have more than one device, and you can interact. You can also create interactions among them during the session. Probably it will be one of the next evolutions. And moreover, it's an open platform. Evolution is in the DNA of this application, at least to me. And being in the DNA of the application, its evolution, and following this principle, that to me is every day driving my activity in digital operations in Electrolux. Technology is a powerful enabler, but people lead and people make the difference in the change management. Having this in mind, we are thinking, of course, that what today we are experiencing is not the ending point. It's just the beginning. We want to proceed in this way. Thank you.